Hey everyone, it's Dr. Hodges, and I am in my office in front of this little whiteboard. And today I kind of wanted to go over part 3 of my Medscape series. So every month, or almost every week it seems, I get emails from Medscape, and it's where they give us all this, like the latest and greatest in medicine. And it's on a variety of different medical topics, and maybe I should say this, the majority of the time it's in fields of medicine or on topics that are not super pertinent to the field of bariatrics and obesity. So I was very excited this past week whenever the entire email was just on different papers and studies and commentaries on obesity. So I've already made 2 different videos on some of the information that was shared, and now I want to make the 3rd. And I'm kind of like, this was really, really helpful, and I have all my little notes written because I want to get it right. I also want to give credit where credit's due. The information is from Dr. Eugene Lucas. Dr. Lucas, thank you so much for some good information, because, you know, for bariatric patients, it's really important that you're doing your protein every day. You have to have it. If you fall behind on your protein, you're going to have issues with nausea, difficulty swallowing, your hair might fall out, anemia, all those things. But I think what was more important is that in this one commentary that Dr. Lucas was sharing, it was on the importance of protein and whenever, especially while you're working out. And so you can extrapolate this also to patients that are not a bariatric patient. And, you know, I think one of the other things that is important about this is that, you know, there's 2 things. There's a plethora of proteins that are on the market today. So I will have patients that will tell me, oh, I don't like this smell, or I don't like the taste. And they're like, I've tried everything. And I'm like, I promise you, you have not tried everything. There are thousands of proteins out there. There is whey protein, there's pea protein, there's vegan protein, there's collagen protein. There's whey isolate. You can get protein chips, protein pancakes, you name it, because this is the phase now that we're in. In the early 2000s, everything was low fat. Thankfully now for my bariatric patients, we're in the high protein phase, and it's fantastic because, I mean, you can go to 7-Eleven now and go get a protein bar, and usually one that tastes pretty good, okay? So that's number 1. I think the second thing is, what I found interesting about this is that, you know, I will have patients that will come to me and they will tell me, you know, maybe they're a new patient. They're like, I work out a lot, but I'm just not losing any weight, or I've gained some weight, but, you know, I'm worried about working out because I just don't want to bulk up. Whenever I tell you the results of this, it will show you how difficult it is to bulk up. I almost want to say it is more difficult to gain muscle mass than it is for you to lose fat mass. It is very difficult for you to gain muscle mass because you need 2 components. You have to vastly increase your protein intake, and you also have to include a lot of strength training. And for Joe Blow that's on the street, neither one of those things are happening. So if you've been going to the gym and you're not seeing any changes in the scale, it's probably not because you're gaining more muscle. It's probably because you're not adjusting your diet, number 1. And part of that adjustment in your diet is also increasing your protein intake. So, but let's go ahead and get started. So, you know, right now, and I'm going to use my weight, and then I'm just going to use like a typical patient that might come in. So I can show y'all up here on the board. So what they wanted to show the impact of protein on weight training, and this is just doing full body weight training. So this is if you want to use a rubber band. This is if you want to use weights or go to the gym. And remember, whenever you're working out, you need to start out where your baseline is. So for instance, like for me, Like in my heyday, I mean, I could really lift a lot, 70 pounds, over 100 pounds, just doing the leg extension. I am so out of shape now. I walk a lot, but and after doing this, I'm excited to start this weight training. I mean, I can barely do like 40 pounds on leg extension. I mean, that is more than, I've lost more than half of my strength. So definitely, if you don't use it, you lose it. But when you're working out for you, what I want you to do is you just work at your own pace. Everybody's going to have a different starting point, okay? So, but what they looked at was they took 2 groups of people and they had them do like a full body training session. So you want to use the largest like muscle groups, so definitely like chest, your pecs, and your quads, so your legs. And you just worked out 2 times a week, and they looked at them over the course of 4 weeks, okay? And what they did is they had patients, either the 2 groups were stratified in, this group took in 2.1 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein, and group 2 took in double that, so 2.4. So let's use me as an example. So right now, my weight is, oh gosh, I hope you can see this, is 115 pounds. Okay, 115. And if to change weight in pounds to kilograms, because we do everything in the metric system, you divide that by 2.2. So 115 divided by 2.2, that means I weigh, 52 kilograms. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go get a black marker. Okay, so I redid this. I have like this glare right up there. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so we'll start over. So I weigh 115 pounds. You divide by 2.2. So basically just cut your weight in half, and that's going to give your weight in kilograms. Okay, now typically, if you are one of my surgery patients, I will tell you, just as a general rule of thumb, you need to take in, this is everybody, you need to take in 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so typically 1-to-1. So that would mean, by what I've been telling folks, is if I weigh 52 kilos, then I need to be doing a minimum of 52 grams of protein a day, just as my base, okay? Now, in this study, what they did is they had 2 groups. One group, Group A, they took in 1.2 kilograms. Well, let me do it this way. So Group A, they took in 1.2 kilograms per kilogram. So instead of that group taking in what I usually recommend, 1.2 times your weight in kilograms, and that ended up being 62 kilos. Pardon me. So normally I tell people take in 52, but in this particular study, Group A, they took in 10 more. If I was in this study, I would be taking in 10 more kilograms. And if I was in Group B, they were taking in 2.4. So 2.4 times 52. And then that gives you double. So group B took in double the amount, 124 grams. Now, this is kind of what's crazy. So this is what they found. So this group both of these groups are working out twice a week, okay? Same workout. This group took in 62 grams of protein a day. This one took in 124 grams a day. And what they found, that even though this group, they were taking in more protein, and so they had increased their caloric intake by almost 200 more, so 180 calories, on average, they lost more fat. So this group lost 10 pounds of fat in 1 month. 10 pounds compared to this one, which was only 7. That's actually it was 10 and a half. And they think that the rationale behind group B losing more weight compared to group A is that it actually takes more calories to burn protein that you take in than to burn the same number of fat or carbohydrate. What they also found, so not only did these folks lose more fat, this group gained 2.6 pounds of lean muscle versus 0.2. So all you little ladybugs that are out there and you're like, I know I'm done. If I'm worried if I work out, I'm going to regain weight. Okay, if you just want to gain 2 pounds of muscle, to do that, you need to be working out twice a week, full body strength training, and you need to be taking in 2.4 times your weight in kilograms. That's a lot. And I only weigh 115, and that's because I'm short. So, and most of my patients don't weigh 115. So you can imagine, I'll show you what the numbers would be if you're a 200-pound patient, what you would have to take in every month, every day to increase your protein. Like, that's a lot. So now let's do these same numbers on somebody that's, let's say you're 200 pounds. So if you are 200 pounds, you're roughly going to weigh 90 kilograms. So what does this mean? If you weigh 90 kilos, that means what I used to tell patients is go ahead and just do 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. You would need to do a minimum of 90 grams every day, whether you've had surgery or not. But if you were in this study and you were doing 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, you'd have to do 109 grams of protein, or 2.4 times. That's 218. So, what does this show you? The more you weigh, the higher your protein need is. The higher the need is going to be. I think this also shows that for my folks that you're in a weight loss program, certainly if you're over 200 pounds, for you to gain muscle, you have to do a tremendous amount of protein in addition to weight training for you to actively gain lots of muscle. So that's why I'm like, when you go to the gym, you're not going to get all big and buff because there is a lot that you have to do. So there was another part to this commentary. So I thought that this was really good to see that the more protein that you take in, the more weight that you are able to lose, and the more lean muscle you're able to gain. And this is just with you working out twice a week. So 2 other points on this commentary. There was a meta-analysis that was done, and this is a meta-analysis is whenever you look at a variety of different studies that have been done, and you try to pool all that information together to try to get the main point. And actually what they found was to prevent lean muscle mass loss, but also to gain muscle, an optimal amount of protein to take in is more than 1.2, but you don't necessarily have to go all the way up to 2.4. They said an optimal amount is 1.6 grams per kilogram of weight. So 1.6. So what would that be if it were little old me? For me, for CH, that means that I need to be doing, that's 83. So 83 grams a day. And let's say for my 200-pound patient, for you would need to be doing 145 grams. Now, these numbers look suspiciously close to what my recommendations are also for my bariatric patients. So, you know, if you've had a sleeve or a bypass, we want you to be doing 60 to 80 grams of protein in supplement. That means in addition to the food that you're eating every day. If you are a duodenal switch or a revision of a bypass to a duodenal switch, we want you to be doing 100 to 120 grams. Now this is 145, but you can see how if you are a bariatric patient, we already want you to be doing so much more. So let's kind of round this all out. Number one, the more protein you do, the better it is with your weight loss program. Number two, you have to do a lot of protein as well as strength training so you can get the benefit, and you are not going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is not going to happen. You're going to have to do a lot to get there. But ideally, if you were starting on a weight training program, especially for men, I would try to aim for that 1.6 per kilogram. And if you can, doing 2.4, okay? But let this be your goal. Aim for that, all right? And then finally, if you're going to be doing a strength training program, do it at least 2 times a week. There was another study that was done where it looked at folks doing full body workouts. And it was found that if you compared somebody doing strength training 1 time a week versus 2 times, if you did it 2 times a week, it was found to be 4 times better to do that. So strength training 2 times a week, protein 1.6 kilograms, or pardon me, grams to your weight, and you'll see some success. As a general rule of thumb, I think you need to be aiming, if you're doing a weight program, anywhere from like 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. If you don't want to do any of the math, I would say at least aim for that. Okay. And I hope that this helped. So, all right. Take care.